MSU number one fan with actually a pretty interesting question here that I would think that you would be in a better position to answer after spring practice, but still as it stands right now, we got personnel losses to the NFL and through graduation, transfer portal, all that. Then you got personnel gains, of course, through the transfer portal and through recruiting the 2021 class, top 10 in the nation. So what's your feel for the position group that's been upgraded and maybe one that's taken a step back since last year?
Since last season, so like going into 2021?
That's how I'm taking their question here. What position group took a step back and what group took a step forward?
So I guess he's talking about from the 2020 season. I'll just answer both. How about that? That makes it easier. So based on 2020, the position that took a step back, you have to be a tie between the receivers and the inside linebackers. Just disappointment across the board on both sides. And yes, each side made a big play here and there. I mean, wide receivers more than a linebacker, but it's sickening. You know, Mark, it's the time of the NFL draft for me. It's the time for highlight tapes for me. So I'm doing a whole bunch of rewatch squad on all of the previous games, and I'm getting re-angry with a lot of young men. Like a lot of young men. You know, it ended up working out in our favor, you know, but some of those games like Vatech and Virginia, I mean, they were just so hard to watch. Just to know that, yeah, we got away with the win, but holy crap, this was trash. This was unacceptable stuff, man. And some of those people who continue to keep getting jobs, they need to be pulled. And you need to have a conversation about some people's scholarships, because it is just, for us to be handing you $50,000 a semester and you can't make a tackle or catch a football, you got to go. No. Get out. Because it is sick. But anyway, I think that linebacker, wide receiver are tied for the position group that took steps back. Position that took a step forward, striker, I think is number one. And of course, behind that, quarterback. There's just no way that you can see what happened at quarterback and what De'Aaron King brought to the table as far as bringing some validity, bringing some calmness to the QB position and how it's supposed to look at Miami, because we had not seen a mobile QB who can also be accurate, but just lack the arm strength. That's just such a high level. You had gunslingers like Jacoby Harris and Stephen Morris, who could be somewhat mobile, but they were just gunslingers. You know, then after them, you had Brad Kaya, who wasn't really a gunslinger and also wasn't mobile, but also wasn't the most accurate. He was just a balanced pocket passer QB. He could do some of everything and bring it to the table at a pretty solid level. And if you gave him time, man, he could carve almost any defense up like that. So that's for 2020. In my humble opinion, moving forward to 2021, for what a projected position group that could take a step back, maybe defensive end, because you're losing back-to-back first rounders. Okay, you're losing Greg Rousseau and Jalen Phillips, who are both slotted as mid-first round picks, somewhere in the teens or late 20s. I've even seen some people with the Quincy Roche in the middle of the second round. At one point, I saw late first because of how well he did at the Senior Bowl practice. But I think he has a cap because he's 6'2". You know, he may have to be a 3-4 outside linebacker edge rusher to where you can do either one. Greg Rousseau can rush the pass as a strong side 3-4 outside linebacker defensive and be a true 4-3 defensive end. Same thing with Jalen Phillips. I think Jalen could excel as a true 3-4 outside linebacker edge rusher. And he could do pretty well as a true 4-3 defensive end. But Quincy has to be a stand-up outside linebacker. He's too light in the behind, you know, and his arm length and his kind of lack of athleticism, you know, it's a cap of where he can go. But defensive end is where I would say is probably going to take a step back in production. Step forward, man. Safety. I guess I would say safety. You're going to get coached for the first time. You're going to actually be coached. You know, not by a walk-on bartender, but actually by a real defensive back coach. And hopefully those horrific angles that Bubba and Amari Carter, hopefully he's playing linebacker, but we'll see. Durbin Hall, hopefully somebody shakes him and wakes him back up to who he was becoming towards the end of 2019. Then you add to that James Williams. You add to that Brian Balaam, who's been there. You add to that Avante Williams, who's been medically cleared. I mean, it's some pretty good stuff that could be happening at safety for the University of Miami. Influxing in Cam Kitchens, the best football IQ at safety on the team right now in Cam Kitchens, coming into and already at the University of Miami as an early enrollee, as we spoke last week. So I really think safety is going to be huge. What I'm hoping happens is defensive tackle, offensive line, and cornerback takes steps up. But for right now, I would say defensive end step back, safety step up.